Hello and welcome. You're watching Hit the Streets with me, Steve G. This is a channel dedicated to all things street photography. And in this video, I'm going to be giving away 3 tips for those new to street photography. So let's assume you've been on Instagram and you've seen some of those wonderful street photos that many talented photographers all over the world are taking. And you look at them and you go, not only are they beautiful, but I want them to be mine. I want to create photography just like that. I want to go hit the streets and take some awesome street photos. Well, where do you start? Because 9 times out of 10, when people are really new to this, myself included, reality has a way of sinking in. You sort of realize that, hey, I'm headed out to do something fairly unusual. I'm going out to the streets of my city to take covert photographs of strangers. It's not something you see every day. If you're anything like me when you were starting off, you'll begin to feel this apprehension building in the pit of your stomach, and that's totally natural. You're about to do something relatively out of your comfort zone, relatively out of many people's comfort zones. So let's say it's a Wednesday and you've planned to go out on a Saturday and you're getting that fear bubbling up inside. What do? Tip number 1 is not to overthink the process of street photography. Like any sort of new side hustle or hobby, when you're first starting off, you have tendency to really go into the minutiae, go into the finer details of the technology required and the techniques required. But when it comes to street photography, you really don't need to think about all that stuff, certainly not straight off the bat. It's more important to actually just get out there and start experimenting for yourself and see what starts to work for you. So what I'm saying is, don't worry about the gear, don't worry about the technique, just get out there first. And in doing that, you'll get rid of those butterflies in your stomach. You'll be straight in at the deep end, taking some photos that hopefully will be pretty good. Another thing I find super helpful, even now several years into taking street photos, is to know where I'm going to be going in advance. Whether it's Piccadilly, Covent Garden, Oxford Street, Brick Lane, no matter where it is in this wonderful city of London, I know where I'm going to go in advance. And because I know that, there's less hesitation when it comes to actually just getting out the door to take some photos, which is another great way to curb those butterflies in the stomach when you're first starting off. Also, because I know where I'm going in advance, I sort of have this mental picture of a rough route that I'm going to take, and I know the sort of photos that I'm going to be taking too. For example, if I'm going to Chinatown, I know there's got a lot of restaurants and things there. I may be shooting through the windows at people eating wonderful Asian street food. So I know that's the kind of photos I'm going to get, versus somewhere like Brick Lane, which is grungy, it's graffiti clad, it tells really rich and vibrant stories. And of course, as time goes on, you'll figure out your favorite spots too. I've talked quite a lot about Soho being one of my favorite spots in London, and I have this preconceived notion of the kind of photos that I'm going to get there. And because I have that picture in my head, when it comes to a Saturday morning and I'm packing my bag to get out the door, I know what I'm in for. It's less of a surprise and it's less intimidating. This one's for the procrastinators among us. You may really want to go out on a Saturday morning with all of your heart, but when it comes to actually getting out the door, it pays to pack your bags in advance. I often call street photography problem solving on the street. You're figuring out angles, you're trying to make really nice stories, you're trying to figure out the settings on your camera, you're juggling a lot of things at once. So let's not put more obstacles in your way before you even get out of the house. Pack your bags the night before, charge your batteries, figure out where you're going. Maybe even have a couple of ideas in your head of the kind of photos you want to take. And here's a 4th bonus tip. It may be worthwhile in the very early days of street photography to set yourself a little bit of a challenge, a personal challenge, before you even leave the door. A little challenge like, say, I want to photograph something of the color red. That will really train your eye when you're out there. You'll be less distracted by everything going on around you, and you may get some cool photographs of it. Things like, I really want a person stepping out of shadow into the light, can really help you in the very early days to train your eye to start and put together some really cool compositions when you're out there. So those are a few quick and easy tips to get you out the front door and taking some photos when you're first starting your street photo journey. I hope you enjoyed this video. There's going to be lots of tips and tricks coming your way. So thumbs if you like, subscribe if you love. This is Hit the Streets.